And here is your host, Brian Custer.
That's right, it is The Last Stand. I'm Brian Custer. We bring you the biggest names in the sport. Joining me today is one of the biggest. He is the WBO welterweight champion of the world. Terence Bud Crawford is back. What's up?
What's going on, man?
It's finally here.
It's finally here.
If you could put into what's the biggest difference that got it over the finish line this time?
The biggest difference that got us to the finish line is me and Earl being able to talk things through and agree that this is what we both want, and the terms, us agreeing on the terms on pretty much everything, and that's what got us here.
And considering the first time it fell apart, did it bother you? It seemed like there was like this perception people had, like, I think Spence wants to fight more than Crawford. That's why it didn't get done. Crawford really doesn't want to fight. Did that bother you at all?
Well, not really, because I knew those type of people didn't know what they was talking about. If anything, I wanted to fight more than anybody. Spence wanted to fight as well. So we both came together and we given the fans exactly everything that they want.
What would it mean to you to not only win on the 29th, but to become the first undisputed welterweight champion in this four-belt era, and the first male to do it in two different weight divisions?
It means a lot. It means a lot. A lot of people, they shedding darkness on me accomplishing it the first time and saying I wasn't fighting nobody, and they trying to take a lot of credit away from the opponents that I faced at 140, when those was good opponents at the time that they was fighting me. So it would mean a lot for me to go out there and become a two-time undisputed champion, and what's better than beating the boogeyman?
Because that was one of the things he kept bringing up, especially at the press conference. You ain't fought nobody, man. You ain't fought nobody. It's got to be gratifying then to say, but I've beaten you now. Definitely. You know, I felt like Roy Jones Jr. when they said he wasn't fighting nobody, and he said I just make him look like nobody. Because every time I fight somebody, they got something negative to say after the fact. But prior to me fighting, it's a whole lot of, oh man, I don't know if Crawford ready, oh this guy too big, this guy fought this guy, he's got the better resume. You hear a lot of things. But after the fight, you hear, oh, he wasn't nothing, and he was washed, and you know, we don't give Crawford credit for this guy. But this is the fight that you guys wanted. Everybody wanted to see me fight Sean Porter because the fight that he had with Errol Spence. I didn't go calling Sean Porter out because of the type of relationship that we have. You know, I was calling out people like Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Errol Spence. So when I fought Sean Porter, everybody was saying, oh, Bud too little, Sean's gonna rough him up, or Bud's not on that level, he ain't fought nobody. But then after I fight Sean, now Sean is washed. His dad called the fight, he was already retired. I hear a lot of things, you know, so July 29th, I'm gonna hear a lot of things as well. So I got used to hearing a lot of things. What'd you guys say to each other when you finally got a chance to face off, and what'd you see when you looked in his eyes?
Nothing, we just both acknowledged that we here. You know, I told him I'm ready. You know, and he acknowledged that a lot of people ready, you know, so when I looked him in his eyes, I just wanted him to know that I'm here. And I'm pretty sure he wanted me to know that he was here as well. So July 29th is going to be a fun night of boxing for not only me and him, but for the fans as well.
We know there's obviously a rematch clause for this fight. Do you fight again at 147? Do you do it at 154?
I believe it's at either or.
Okay.
You know, but my mind ain't even on that. I'm looking to be victorious in the first one. This is the one that matters to me, the first one.
I love it. One guy who's certainly looking forward to it is your guy, Jermell Charlo. He's talked a lot about after this fight. Do you think after Errol Spence, that's the next big fight for Bud Crawford?
It could be. It could be, yes, definitely. Like I said, not only is I'm looking at Jermell Charlo, but Errol is too. He's hinted and mentioned, fighting Jermell Charlo as well. So that's a fight that could be made. But like I said before, I'm not even worried about Jermell Charlo. I'm not even thinking about Jermell Charlo. Only person on my mind is Errol Spence Jr.
Anything that he does in the ring that concerns you?
No. I've seen it all. I've been in the ring with it all. I've been in the ring with bigger fighters. I've been in the ring with pressure fighters. I've been in the ring with fighters that throw a lot of punches and use their jab. I've been in the ring with all of them, southpaws, orthodox, big, small, tall, medium. So I've been boxing for a long time, since I was 7. So I don't think there's nothing that Errol Spence can do that I haven't seen before.
There's some who've written, they said Terence Crawford's boxing ability, the way he switches, his versatility will be the difference in this fight. What do you say?
Well, we shall see. We shall see. A lot of people can say my versatility, the way I counter, the way I move, the way I place my punches, when I place them, my counter ability. But all that is going to be answered July 29th.
I know you see yourself winning that fight. Do you actually see yourself stopping Errol Spence?
With the right punch at the right time, anything can happen. Like I said, I never go in the ring looking to stop any of my opponents. I look at every opponent the same. Just go get the victory, get the job done, look good doing it, and the rest is extra credit.
What will people be saying about Terence Bud Crawford after July 29th, after you get a victory?
After the July 29th, they're going to say Terence Crawford is special. He's the best fighter of this era.
I like people who support the podcast and watch it. They submit questions. We got just a couple of them here. The first one here comes from Joshua. He says, what's your 5-year plan in boxing? Will you be fighting at 40?
No, I would not be fighting at 40. So that's something that, we don't even got to talk about.
Uncle Pete asks, do you still think Bob Arum is racially biased against black fighters? And what advice do you give Shakur when it comes to dealing with him?
Listen, I don't even want to talk about Bob Arum and what he got going on. Like I said, I'm fighting Errol Spence Jr., and that's my primarily focus.
Jess Tour asks, what's the potential matchup in boxing you would like to see next?
I would like to see Shakur versus Devin or Shakur versus Tank.
Ooh.
Those are the two big fights that I would like to see next.
Jay Shooter asks, will the rematch be at 154? And if a mandatory is invoked before the rematch, will you vacate the belts?
It depends. It depends. I feel like boxing, when you get to a certain point in your career, you become bigger than the belts. I feel as if me and Errol Spence is at that level to where if we was both to vacate the belts right now, the fight would still be
huge,
a mega fight.
Yeah.
Why? Because we still the two best fighters in the division, and we make the belts don't make us.
Chance asks, do you plan to entertain a fight with Boots if you become undisputed?
Well, like I said, all those fights is out there in the welterweight division. But right now, my main focus, my main goal is to beat and conquer Errol Spence.
Lee asks, what's your thoughts on Tim Tszyu? He says he wants the winner of your fight after Charlo early next year.
Well, listen, those are great fights at 154 and at 147. So it's good to know that we got options.
And last, Slim Shady asks, is the $1 million bet still on with Spence?
Man, look, man, we do what we do, man, and we get what we get.
All right, and we come to the last section of this show. It is the last day. I'm just gonna ask you a serious question. You give me the
Yeah.
first thing. You ready?
Right.
All right, here we go. After Spence, who's the biggest thorn in your side? Is it Jermell Charlo? Is it Jerron Boots Ennis?
Jermell Charlo. that guy right there, man.
I do it. I do it. I knew that was going to be the answer. In the Crawford household, who's the best athlete? Is it you? Is it your daughter? Or is it one of your sons?
It got to be between my son Tyrese and my daughter. Yeah, it got to be between them two. They both just natural born athletes.
Yeah.
Like all my kids is natural athletes, but like my daughter, she'll drop down and do like almost 50 man push-ups like straight.
Gosh.
You know, I have her competing against her brothers, and she do more push-ups than all of them, straight though, and they get mad.
What means more to you, being the first undisputed welterweight champion, or just beating Errol Spence?
That's a tough one. I would say both. I would say both.
Okay. In your opinion, the winner of this fight, pound for pound, best fighter in the world, walking the planet right now?
Definitely, hands down.
Last but not least, Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson. Who wins that fight right now?
Shakur. Hands down. Shakur.
Wow. I love it. You want to give me a prediction for July 29th?
Victor. I've been giving it to you all day.
Oh, no. I just thought maybe you'd give me a round or something.
Listen, however it comes,
However it comes.
just know that at the end of the day, my hand will be rosing.
I love it. One of the best finishers in the sport. Terence Bud Crawford, champ. You know, I always appreciate you.
Thanks.
That's what we do here on The Last Stand. We bring the biggest names in the sport, none bigger than this guy right here, Terence Bud Crawford. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you again next week.